Well, a tough loss here in Salt Lake City for the Jazz, 132-122 final against the Hawks, who extend their win streak to 4 games now. Just a really tough one here inside Delta Center. There was a lot of good flashes in the third quarter for the Jazz, but the Hawks came out on top, and the story of this game was what the story was at halftime, Mike. It was about 3-pointers, and at the end of the game, the Hawks made 24. They had a player make 8 as well on their team, and that ended up being, I think, the deciding factor in this.
They had too many career highs, let's be honest. Okongwu with a career high in points and 3-pointers. Jalen Johnson in a career high in assists, tied his career high in rebounds, career high in steals. Atlanta had a lot of things going their way on a night of a back-to-back, their 4th win in a row, their 7th in 9 games. It's amazing. Thurl and Buller, we're talking about a little bit. No Trae Young, out with a strained MCL. And this team plays differently. They play better. They're better defensively. They move the ball more. And they're a team to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. I think they're a playoff team. The way they're playing, Jalen Johnson is a star in the making. And that team, how many steals did they have tonight? 18 steals. So therein lies the story, not just the threes. 18 steals. The Jazz turned it over way too many times, 24 times. But this is not just a love fest for the Hawks, but let's give them credit. Quinn Snyder brought them in here. It's tough to win on a back-to-back. And let's be honest, the Jazz not only played well 2 nights ago, an offensive explosion, they did the same thing tonight.
Right.
They made threes. They made shots. They fall a tick under 50% shooting. But that's only in the fourth quarter when they're putting up shots a lot and quickly at the end. But for the most part, they shot 50%. They made 19 threes themselves. They had 39 assists. Of course, Lauri has his second 40-plus game, his 6th 30-plus game. But Ace Bailey was terrific. As we look at all this, there's a lot to be happy about.
Take a look at our Ford leading scores. The Built Ford Proud Go Further leading scores brought to you by your local Ford stores. Visit buyfordnow.com. A lot to dissect here. Like you mentioned, Lauri Markkanen, 40 points. The way that the Jazz have found just different ways to open Lauri up and to have him flourish as this type of player and unlock what he's able to do has been very impressive.
How about the fact that Lauri has 6 30-point games this year? He had 4 all of last year. Like, amazingly, the guy is just playing out of his head. He's making shots. He's unguardable. Kevin Love found him on a beautiful play. Ace Bailey, his second straight 20-plus point game in a row in his 3rd start. That kid's headed for greatness, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's 1, 2, or 3 in Rookie of the Year voting if he keeps going, and there's no reason to think he won't keep going. He is a legitimate threat and a real scorer at this level. So, plenty of good things happening. Honestly, I just think you ran into a buzzsaw on a team that has a lot of momentum and a lot of offensive firepower right now.
Right. No, Ace continues to grow and grow as a pro every single game. And Ace Bailey just keeps on going. He's a star in the making for the Jazz. Check out that putback right there from the Rook. We're going to hear from head coach Will Hardy when we come back from the break. The Jazz with 19, Lauri with 6, Ace with 4. Another good night, Mike.
Absolutely. They made 19 last night, as you said, 19 again tonight. Last night, or 2 nights ago, 42 attempts. Tonight, 44 attempts. Lauri made half of them, 6 of 12. There's Kevin Love getting into the mix. If you make 19 a night, you're going to be in most ball games. The 4 games before were not as proficient. They were 12, 9, 7, 9. So they were due to come home from that road trip and make some shots. The outlier tonight, speaking of 3 balls, is the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
They make 24 of them. In their win last night, they made 17. In the game before they beat the Clippers, they made 13. So it wasn't like it was heading in this direction. But Okongwu makes 8 and Krejci makes 6. That's a ton. That's 14 threes from guys you wouldn't expect. Jalen Johnson, yes. Luke Kennard, yes. And those guys did make threes, but those are the 2 outliers that really broke the game and got some separation for Atlanta.
Absolutely really tough. We're going to go ahead and send it downstairs to hear from head coach Will Hardy.
It was a back and forth game all night. A lot of shots made by both teams. I didn't feel like defensively to start the game, we did a good job of applying pressure. Credit to the Hawks. They played a great game. They had the ball moving, and they made a lot of shots. So, In the NBA, it's hard if your attention to detail is not there really early in the game. You're not communicating as sharply as you need to. You get behind the curve, and then you're at the mercy of a team who moves the ball really well. I thought our third quarter was tremendous to come out. The way we played defense in the third quarter, held them to 23 points. I thought after halftime, we really kind of addressed some things that needed to be done, and the guys came out and did it. And ultimately tonight, our offense in the fourth quarter hurt us. Turnovers for the most part this year haven't hurt us in a way where they've been the reason that we lost. We had 18 live ball turnovers tonight, and that's just a hard way to play. That being said, we shot poorly from the free throw line. Okay, that's a one-off. We had 39 assists on 45 baskets. These guys are playing like a team, and I'm really proud of the way they are encouraging each other, the way that they're sticking together, the way they're fighting as a group. Tonight was just one of those nights in the NBA where you come out and you're a half step behind and the other team catches this great rhythm, and then it's really hard to slow them down. So I give the Hawks credit. I'm really encouraged by what I'm seeing from our team, though. I think there's a bright future ahead. And this group in particular, I think the way they carry themselves, the way they're competing every night, the way they're playing as a team, is very representative of who we want to be.
Well, let's take a look at the numbers presented by Just Ingredients, products made from real ingredients for better health.
It's kind of hard not to look at both sides of those columns, Lauren, but if you just looked at the right side and said, this is what the Jazz were going to do for the ball game, 9 steals, 39 assists, make 19 threes, and almost shoot 50%, and you didn't know who was on the other side or saw any numbers, you would say, oh, that's a win.
Absolutely.
Every night you would say that's a win. So that's to back up what Will Hardy is saying. Like, this product they're now putting on the floor is something he could be proud of, the organization could be proud of, something that's representative of who the Jazz want to be going forward. And he likes what he sees. I loved the ball game. First of all, it was a super entertaining game. I love offensive games, so I love high scoring shootouts, which it was with all those threes made. But when you talk about 39 assists on 45 field goals, okay, the Jazz are arguably the best passing team in the NBA. And you say, Mike, well, they turn it over too much. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Mike, they don't lead the league in assists. No, they don't. What they do lead the league in is field goals that are assisted upon. So 45 buckets tonight, 39 of them came from an assist. That's the way basketball was meant to be played.
Right. And I think that's what Coach means when he says the guys are playing like a team. Just really optimistic with what we can expect this season from these guys. We have Kevin Love right here showing love to his teammate. Check this out. Love to Lauri. What a game from these two tonight. We're going to have more of your post-game report coming up after this. To pick a Where You Watching winner for Les Olson IT. And I heard that Mike is actually picking the winner tonight. So all the pressure's on you.
I'm here. All right. Okay, let me see. Rocking my retro All-Star weekend. Sure, watching future All-Star. I agree with that.
Ooh.
Lauri's headed off to be an All-Star this year. Hope he gets another 50. He was on pace to get 50. Let's go Jazz for the holidays. Take note. Jazz
I think
fever.
It says gobble.
They must be the Lazenbys. Watching the game with my cat, Lauri. Okay.
I'm glad I'm not picking. I know what I would pick.
Oh, my goodness. I was going to say, do we have the technology to put them both up? I'm going with the Utah Jazz one, like the Lauri All-Star Weekend shirt.
Yeah.
Because I agree with him or her that Lauri is headed for his second All-Star selection and his second in 4 years. There you go.
There you go. Congratulations. And speaking of Lauri, we've got a lot of Lauri to talk about. Just the way he is getting to his baskets this year, the way he's finding things, it's really impressive, and it's a lot different than we've even seen from last year. The Jazz, I've said this before, they've unlocked something, Mike.
They really have, and give him the credit, because everyone wondered after last year when Lauri averaged 13 a game and played about 55 games and didn't play a ton down the stretch. And I mentioned earlier he had 4 30-point games all of last year. Tonight's his 6th. So just look at what he does on the floor. He himself said, when I come off a European League European Championship in the summer, I don't have to then retool and sharpen my axe and get my skills super fine and get in shape. I'm ready to go. And from day one, he has been ready. I think he had 30 plus on opening night. He's been super sharp. I call him all the time, Lauren, the most unique 7-footer ever to play the game. And there's a lot of different variations of 7-footers, from Hakeem Olajuwon to a Tim Duncan, who's just a tick under 7 feet, to a Dirk Nowitzki who could shoot and was agile, a Tony Kukoc who was kind of a playmaker at 7 feet tall. And then, of course, you at the centers, the Shaqs and the Kareems and all those guys, right? 7-footers come in all sorts of varieties. It's the only one I've seen do what he does, which is catch off the dribble and shoot, run off screens and shoot a 3-pointer from 28 feet, finish, no pun intended, play both ends of the floor, catch lobs, dunk on people. He really does it all, and the Jazz are lucky to have him, and he is playing like an all-star.
He does, and something Coach Hart even mentioned before this game, the difference between last year and the start of this season is that last year they were trying to get him off the switch on the elbow for a lot of ISO situations. This year, not really. They know he moves well or plays well when he's moving, when he's in motion, when he's cutting. And that's what they've really tried to access this year. And I think it's shown that it's working with 6 30-point games to start the year.
They've opened up the floor for him, and they've realized that the faster we play and do so in space, whether it's Keontae or Isaiah Collier pushing the tempo, Lauri is going to flourish.
He is flourishing, and he continues. This was just a little bit of him in action tonight. We're going to talk more about this game after the break. Counting the boards and giving hope, Mountain Land Supply is donating $5 to Primary Children's Hospital for every rebound the Jazz grabbed this season, and so far, more than $2,875 have been raised. And I think that's something else to talk about, Mike. The ball. I specifically want to talk about that third quarter, the ball movement in that quarter. I know defensively there are a lot of positives too, but the way they were pushing the ball, it's been the way we've been talking about it all week in the flashes we've seen the last couple games. But that third quarter was special with that.
It's a fun way to play the game when you're moving fast and you got the ball being pushed up the floor, whether it's Keontae George or Isaiah Collier, or whether it's one of these great kick-ahead outlet passes that the Jazz have been employing, especially of late. Once they got back from that trip, these games at home, you've just seen them kick it into another gear. It's almost like Will said, don't hold it. Like, get it to Isaiah or get it to Keontae, and let's kick it ahead, and let's see if we can play in space. And they're starting to play in space really well.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to send it down to Holly Rowe now, who's in the locker room with Lauri Markkanen.
40-point games are not that usual in the NBA. Your fifth 40-point game, even though it's in a loss. What does that mean to you that you continue to shine like this?
Trying to do my best to get wins, and obviously it wasn't enough tonight. But yeah, I guess it's kind of cool that you see. It's kind of cool that you see shots go in, and just yeah.
They had a crazy night hitting threes. You know, what's it like when a team's hot like that and you guys are trying to get your defense in place?
It's hard to start the game like that. They got some easy looks and got rhythm, and I think then the whole team's feeling good, and it's hard to stop that. And so credit to them, they shot the ball really well, and I think we can make it a little bit more difficult for them, but they shot the ball really well.
Thank you.
It's not just one guy who's doing it. I mean, you got assists coming tonight, like from Nurkic had 8, and Keontae George 7, and Collier 7. Here's Kevin Love throwing a dime down low to Markkanen. Like, the ball is not sticking. It is moving. That's an unbelievable pass by Lauri. Look what happens. It comes right back to him with a 3. That was the 8:22 mark of the third quarter. It forced Quinn Snyder to take a timeout because the Jazz were coming right on him and actually caught him and took a lead. It was a tremendous comeback. They were down 18 early, came back and took the lead. I think, honestly, they ran out of a little juice. Like, one of the two teams is comfortable playing at that pace right now. It's not the Jazz yet, but watch out in about 2 weeks. If they keep playing at this pace, other teams are going to roll in here and they're going to like, whoa, we can't play at that pace. They're playing. They're getting up and down the floor. So it was a fun game. A lot to learn from this game. But they do end up losing this game, unfortunately. But they got a couple days off before Chicago comes to town.
That's true. And I think, like you mentioned, though, this loss, that there were outliers in this. People don't shoot, 24 threes every single night in this league. But I think that's my favorite part. These last few games from the Jazz is how connected they are. I mean, like Will said, they are playing as a team, and you could see that. You can feel that in this arena. I'm going to go back to that third quarter. It was electric in here. It was there. It was buzzing. It was so fun.
It was like a playoff game. For one moment, you just thought, wow, what is going on? This is a regular season game on a Thursday night. What's happening?
It was fun, and it's going to continue to get more fun. The Jazz fall short to the Hawks tonight, but they're truly clicking as a team. Lauri with another 40-point game. Ace Bailey continuing to shine his rookie year. Now, you can watch the next game on Sunday. The Jazz take on the Bulls. The pregame show begins at 5:30 on SEG Media. So we'll see you in a few days back here at Delta Center.